It's kind of a gray, spitty day today, but the boys have been putting in, 12 to 20 hour days, so it's probably time they caught up on some sleep. The mast, honestly, I can't imagine it being much easier to raise. Let's see, this one, you can see a hole drilled through the mast there, hopefully. Uh, that's where it's set up for the gin pole. And you just bolt the gin pole to the mast, and someone has rigged up these wires so you don't have to use the lower shrouds. And then they just clip onto those U-bolts on top of the cabin. You just run a line from the mast head to the gin pole, and then from the gin pole you hook your block and tackle and clip it onto, we use this little pin here. I did screw up one thing. I should have had the bell on the furler mounted facing aft, but that's why I do dry runs. But it went really simple. With that there, when I went to raise the mast started to bow. So I figured that's not going to fly. So I got my wife to run the block, and I just stood on the cockpit seats and had my wife just kind of take the slack on the rope as I raised it, and super simple. Like just, yeah, nothing to it. The only thing that I found awkward was you have to, once you unhook the mast, you have to pick it up and move it back. It rests on that crutch that mounts in the rudder pentals, but you can't slide it on there. You have to pick it up and move it back. And it's not heavy, so that wasn't the problem. It's once you get the mast to within 3 or 4 feet of the mast step, it gets quite tail heavy, and it's just a little awkward. So I remembered I have this one of these extendable poles for painting. This winter I'm just going to rig up something for a little V I can screw on there, and then that way I can get whoever's helping me just stand back here and just kind of pick it up, and I'll just walk back with the base of the mast, and that'll make it super simple. I have checked the tension on the shroud lines. There's no two are the same. But I've done some reading, and I've been emailing with a gentleman with Potter Yachters, and got some ideas about the tension there. So I got to do a little more reading. I did order 1 yard of white waterproof canvas. Gonna make new boots, because these turnbuckles, if you don't have a boot on there, boy, you get a pretty ragged gash in your ankle, and that'd kind of ruin your day. The running rigging, there's a link on Judy B's Potter pages. I think it's just called rigging notes. That really helped. It's all it's all starting to make sense now. It's one of those things you don't know anything about it, but you start looking at it and playing with it and do some reading. And I got the engine note. I have to clean the carb, but I'm going to clean the carb, get it running. I got kind of absconded with one of wife's little rain barrels, and I'm going to sell this one. I want to go with like a 5-horse. So let's see what else. I've got most of the plumbing torn out. I've decided against the marine head. I'm just going to go with like a porta potty. So I'm tearing everything out. It's real tight quarters, especially with that effluent tank, but it's coming. Let's see what else. I guess that's about all that's new. But things are going well enough that as I'm working on it, I'm starting to think about things like what gear, tools, and spares do I need to have on the boat, and where am I going to store them, and what personal gear do I want on the boat, and where am I going to store that kind of thing. So yeah, things are going great. It's starting to freeze here, but weather's been really good, so